Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I have the new We Are Makers. This is their shadow box punch board, and I meant to get this when it first came out, but somehow I missed it. I think it's been out for it's still relatively new, but it's been out for a little bit. And I am really excited for it because I actually have multiple different die sets that will let you create shadow boxes like this, but they are kind of like a fixed size. The most popular one that I use anyhow is the Tonic Studio set. I actually have both of them. I have the one that has the more kind of that mitered shadow box look, and then I have this one which is more squarish. This will only do the more squarish one as opposed to that nice kind of beveled edge. But what's nice about it is that it, I believe, should allow you to create different size shadow boxes. And from the looks of it, just looking through the packaging, it can range from 2 by 2 to 5 by 5. Which is I wonder if you can actually adapt that to be larger. I guess we'll see. So I'm excited. This is a first look at this product, which means really haven't done too much research or watched many tutorials. I saw the We Are Makers, kind of their short video on how to create a shadow box. I feel like it's gonna be pretty easy. They've got the instructions right here, but let's see just how easy it actually is. What I think is kind of nice with this is that you can create your shadow box, but then you can also create a sleeve for it so that if it's not a shadow box that's getting like shown as maybe a piece of decor, it can be something that you can use as maybe a gift box. So I think that's going to be kind of fun. And the challenge with the die version, I feel, is sometimes because the die really just cuts out like the 4 border pieces, sometimes it can be hard to really square those corners up so that you get like a really nice 90 degrees there. But this, I believe, you just start with a single sheet of paper and then you fold those 4 edges in. So as long as your scoring is nice and squared up, then it should work out just fine, and you should get more easily, I would think, your 90-degree corners. So for my first look videos, I do like to just take you on a tour of what I'm seeing here. I'll probably pause the video just enough so that I can read the instructions, because I do like to actually read the instructions. And I'll give it a one-time read through, but I won't actually make it. Once I've read it, feel like I understand what's going on, I'll come back and then see if it's as easy as the pictures would suggest. There's only 9 steps for making the box, and there are photo instructions, and then you can make the sleeve in 8 steps, and so you have those instructions on the back of this. So it's just one sheet of paper here for both sets of instructions, which is great. And here's the board itself. So it looks like we have our punch here, which I'm guessing punches all the excess cardstock away. This looks like where you would score for your the sides of your shadow box. So that's labeled as box. And then we have the sleeve here. So there's instructions for the sleeve. And there's instructions right on the board. So I think once you read the more detailed instructions, and you're kind of familiar with it, you have them as a guide here. So basically for the shadow box, we cut the paper to the size that we want. sort of similar to like an envelope maker. Whatever end size you want, you would look that up, and then it tells you what paper size to start with. So the largest box requires 9 by 9. So I'll go one step down because I'd rather just kind of use maybe US letter size paper. So I think I'm going to try to make a 4 by 4, and that will require starting with a sheet that's 8 by 8. So I would cut that first piece, align paper to the box edge, that's this right here, score 4 times on all edges, punch all 4 corners twice, fold on score lines and tuck. Oh, punch twice. Punch each corner twice. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I'm kind of curious why that is. And then for the sleeve instructions, cut paper to desired sleeve size, align paper sleeve edge. I think there's a missing word there. Align paper, I think, to the sleeve edge. That's this right here. It does say sleeve here. Score paper on tab line and lines of desired sleeve size. Okay, so this is the tab line, and then whatever size sleeve you're making, you would score at that line. So if you're doing a 4-inch sleeve, I guess you would score. Although this is kind of deceptive, because if I'm making a 5-inch, do I score both of those? I guess so. Score paper on tab line and lines, plural, of desired sleeve, so I guess it's on both. Flip paper vertically and score tab line, fold paper and adhere ends together. That sounds really easy to do, but I guess we'll see. I think I could probably just do it based off of those instructions, but let me go ahead. I'm gonna stop my video here. I do want to go ahead and read this, look at the pictures, so I get a better sense of what we're doing, and then I'll come back and I'll make my first box and sleeve to go with it. Okay, so I read the instructions. I think I have a pretty good idea for how to create the box. I'm gonna use 65-pound cover weight cardstock, but I think if I were to do this for real, like this is just gonna be a practice one. If I were to do this for real, I think I would want something heavier weight than 65-pound, especially if it's going to actually be something that gets hung up. But first off, I'm gonna make the largest size I can, which with US letter. So that's going to be 4 by 4, which I think is the finished size. So we start with 8 by 8. So this is US letter paper. So I'm going to start by cutting 8 by 8. And those are the only cuts we need. And then we start to punch with the board. So okay, so I still have the instructions. So we start with the box here on this edge. It actually does say box. So everything's nice and clearly labeled. There is a scoring tool and in that little compartment there, and this does serve as a really nice reminder. So we've cut our paper. Step 2 is align paper to box edge. Step 3 is score 4 lines on all edges. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 4 lines on all 4 edges. So I'm just going to rotate 90 degrees, score again. I'm scoring twice on each line just to really make sure I have a nice deep score line. And it basically looks like we're scoring every half an inch. Okay. And the last one. I think the only thing that is limiting you from making a box that is larger is the length that you can score, but you can kind of fix that. That might be the first thing I try, is to make something larger than the maximum size, because this length can only go so far. But if you wanted to say, I'm guessing 9 inches is about the maximum length here, because this is 8 inches, right? So it can only go like another inch, but there's nothing stopping you from scoring, 9 inches this way and then flipping it to score like another however many inches you need to score. So I think if I wanted to make a larger box, I could probably, let's say if I started with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I could make, I think, possibly an 8 by 8, because you just take 4 inches off and that's the size of your box. And so I think it would be possible to actually make something larger than the sizes shown here, because that's the only limiting factor there. Step number 4 is punch all 4 corners twice. So we have here the shadow box punch board, and this is where the punch is. So you go punch once and then you push it in and you punch a second time. So punch each corner twice. So I'm gonna line this in. We're done with the scoring. So I'm gonna go in, punch, and then what you're supposed to do, so that dropped out that piece, and then what you're supposed to do is slide in again and punch again. So it looks like that. And then what you're supposed to do is flip this, I think. So we flip it like this to the back side essentially, and we're gonna do that again. So punching once, and then that'll let you slide it some more. This is clever. I don't know what's happening under there, but you just slide it until you can't slide it anymore. And so now you have that. So we just punched from this edge and that edge, and now we need to mirror that, do the exact same thing over here. So I'm going to flip this way, and then go 1, slide, 2, and then flip it like this. So you don't want to go this way. You don't want to go this way. You want these to kind of be mirrored, so that I'll show you. So we go like this and then slide again. So you want these two across from one another to basically be straight, and then these two across from one another have the angles to them. And so we've got all these extras. That's that can be recycled. And then what we want to do is fold all of these in. Fold, 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 and fold. So all of this goes in like that. Okay. And then basically everything is a mountain fold. I don't remember reading that any glue was necessary. Let me see. So I've got the 2 angles folded in, and then now for the straight ones, just kind of do the same thing. You fold all of these, and these actually fit into, oh, look at that. These fit into that angled corner. Oh, that fits really nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again. I wonder if if it makes for like a more secure fit if you do actually glue it down. Okay, so here's this last edge. So basically you just kind of roll this and then it would tuck into that. And you want to tuck it into the other corner. So, because this is pretty secure, but it's not super tight. So it could come apart just like what I did just now. But that's super cute. Look at that. So let's see what happens if I actually put a little bit of adhesive, because this is a test one anyway, so let's just see. Let's just see what happens. My thinking is this, that I would put maybe on the angled pieces, I would put a bit of adhesive just on this, the furthest flap, just at the very end here, and this one here. So let's see if this helps. So what I would be inclined to do is just tuck this down right against the corner and then push down like that. So it's nice and flat. And that can still pop up. Okay. That way we know it's nice and straight. So I can still burnish this. Alright. And then bring, okay, so now this is secure. And then these corners can still tuck in. Yeah, so I wonder if it would make sense to do the same thing here. Try to secure that down too. It gets a little bit trickier to glue the 2 sides in, but I think it would help it to stay a tighter fit. Let's see. Yeah, see how it still comes out a little bit? So I would maybe, let's see how hard it would be. What's tough is that you kind of have to sort of wiggle it in a little bit, and I think that's going to be tough to do without maybe liquid adhesive. At least liquid adhesive will give some time. So I'm going to try this. See if it works with some liquid adhesive. So let's see. Actually, I think what I want to do is I want to put the adhesive here at the base. Okay. And then we'll roll this in. There we go. It's a little hard to burnish that though. And then maybe it would help to have a little bit of adhesive here too, in these corners. And I'll just pinch that. So I think this will help to make it, yeah, see, it's holding a lot better. All right, so I think that's how I'm gonna construct these. Put a little bit of adhesive down here. And roll this in. And get that secured. Can't really burnish too hard on this. And then I want to put, because it can still move like that, I want to put a little bit in this corner and that corner. And slide that in so that that's secured from the top. So now it's secured at the bottom. It's like fixed with some glue, and it's secured at the top too. So that's not going anywhere. Yay, look at that. That was easy to do. Okay, so now if we want to make a sleeve for this, then we need 11 3/4 by 5, which I kind of feel like 11 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna have to cut a 12 by 12, so I think I'll skip that part. But the wrap for this, the sleeve for it is oh wait, I just made a 4x4. Oh, for the 4x4 I just need 9 3/4 by 4. Oh, okay, I can get that from 8.5 by 11, so we can do that. Okay, so 9 3/4 by 4. The first cut I'll make then is 4 inches. And then I'll cut this to 9, let me double check. Yeah, 9 3/4. 9 3/4. Yeah, this is gonna be, I think, pretty easy also. All right. I think with the box instructions, I do like that it's actually etched into the plastic here what the final shape needs to look like. So even though the written instructions actually tell you how to do the flips, when to rotate versus flip and whatnot, if you've done it once and you refer back to how this looks, the end result, then it serves as a good reminder. So now let's make the sleeve. It says cut to the desired sleeve size. Did that. Align paper to the sleeve edge. So on the board it says sleeve right there, and then here it says tab, so you want to make sure we're aligning it to sleeve. And then it says score paper on the tab line and lines of desired sleeve size. So I'm making the 4-inch, and so I'm gonna line this up here. This is the tab line, so it says score on the tab line and score on the size that you want, and it says lines, so I'm gonna score both the 4-inch ones. And then it says flip paper vertically and score on tab line. I think it just means to rotate that. And I believe that's what that means. And then do one last score here. Okay. So if we look at this has the same thing. Kind of shows you what the end result should look like, and then fold paper and adhere ends together. So fold, 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 and fold. So I think we just glue those two ends together, and then this should fit inside here like that. How perfect is that? Okay, I just need a little bit of adhesive. So let's get a bit of adhesive here. I'm just gonna use double-sided dry adhesive. So this is really cute. So if I were to do this again, well, I will do this again. I think my next one, what I would like to do is I'm gonna fold this down like this and then fold this flap on top. So I think what I would like to do is before gluing these down, what I might do is put some pattern paper behind here so that there's like a little bit of a scene here, and then maybe build up something of a scene in the middle of it. And it would be kind of fun to maybe die cut before sealing this, die cut like a little window through here with a circle or a square or something, so you can kind of peek through a little bit. Maybe put some acetate behind there so that you can peek through. That could be a fun little project. But yeah, this was actually really easy to do. And it's kind of nice that you can make these any size you want. And the sleeve option is kind of nice too. I mean, it's not super hard, I think, to adapt this. So one of the things that I want to play with, there are two things. First, I want to see if I can make something larger than 5 by 5. Second, I want to see if I can make a rectangular shadow box, so where it's not square at the end. So I wonder, could you just start with a non-square? Like if I just started with a full sheet of 8.5 by 11, and I just folded all, scored all of these lines and folded them in. I think in principle it would work. I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't, but I guess we'll see. So I do want to play with that idea. So non-square boxes and larger than 5 by 5 boxes. But as a first look video, I think this was a lot of fun. I think it was pretty easy. It's kind of versatile. Really cute little projects. I think 2 by 2 is so tiny, but maybe you could imagine like gluing several of these together to make a little bit of a collage, which then becomes like a larger piece. So that could be fun. But I would say that, like, just in terms of practicality, this feels like the smallest I would go to actually put a photo inside, because if you look at this, it's 4x4, but that's the exterior dimension. I think it's 3x3 on the inside. Yeah, so it's about just under 3x3 on the inside. So you can't really fit too big of a photo in here if that's what you were making it for. And this would, if I was gonna do photos, this would probably be the smallest size I would go with a photo. I feel like when you get smaller than this, the photos get tiny. So just something to think about. It'll be interesting. So when I experiment with some of those other things, I will for sure have videos on them. But this video will be on the product review playlist that I have. So if you want to see other first look videos, other product review videos I've done, you can check the playlist at the end of this video. And as well, I do have a playlist for We Are Makers / We Are Memory Keepers products, because I own a lot of them. I just really enjoy their products, and they didn't send me this. I did buy it, so I just really like their products. I think it makes it really easy for you to do some fun projects like these. So you'll find that playlist will also have this video too. Thanks so much for checking out my video today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.